Hello, welcome back for Financially Fit here with Alan Dembski and Tanya Baya, both of Buffalo First Wealth Management. Hopefully, for the people in Western New York, you're enjoying our mini heat wave that we're having. The humidity is killer this week, but certainly the temps are long and welcomed, I think, for some people.
I agree. I like the heat. I gotta say. I mean, I wouldn't want to live somewhere where it's heat, lots and lots of heat all the time. But considering it can get so chilly out, for a lot of this year, it's great to feel the heat.
Oh, it certainly is. I've been in Vegas when it's 116 and 20% humidity, so this is nothing.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
agree.
But in our topic this time, I'm glad for those that watch and tune in. Thank you very much. You can follow us on YouTube and Facebook. And quick disclosure, this is opinions of Tanya and Alan Dembski, not of Buffalo First Wealth Management. And this is not intended to be a recommendation or investment advice. So there's our mini disclosure
Okay.
to make the government happy that we have to just throw that out there. But one of the topics that has been coming up recently, and Tanya and I were talking, maybe we should do something on family planning and a subset of the actual financial planning process. So with that being said, today we're really going to kind of focus on risk analysis or risk that people endure that they don't even realize some of the complications or things that they're doing that involves a lot of risks that they could be taking. And Tanya's going to kind of kick it off, and then we're going to talk about how to mitigate some of the risk that you might be enduring and unknowingly that you're exposing yourself to some risk.
Okay. That's my cue. Hi, everyone. One of my favorite things to ask clients is if they have umbrella insurance or if they've even ever heard of umbrella insurance. Um, Most people haven't. And to me, it's one of the best, least expensive ways to really protect yourself. So everybody, hopefully, has car insurance and has home insurance. A lot of you hear a lot of eh, commercials actually about bundling these days and how you bundle your car and your home so that it all stays under one insurance company. And usually that allows you to pay a little bit less, which is great. Along those lines, there is something called an umbrella insurance. And I love asking even my friends these questions because they look puzzled. Why would you need something? I'm covered for how many thousands, hundred thousands of dollars for my house. And then, if there's an accident, I'm covered. It shouldn't be a problem. The kicker is you're covered up to a certain point. And then if you do have assets, or if it's a real emergency where the other insurance company decides that this is not enough, and in order, there was a horrible accident and this person needs help for life, they could go after you for more than just what that insurance covers. That's where the umbrella insurance comes in. For a relatively inexpensive amount, you can get coverage of over $1 million, depending on what you need. That it can start at like $1 million, it could go 5 million. But if you have assets, and if you've done a good job family planning, as we've talked about, as he was saying, and you've built up this this amount of assets that you want to either use for your retirement, use for your kids' education, you use to pass on to your children, then having something as simple as umbrella insurance could be very useful. So what do I mean besides some big accidents? Well, there are certain people who definitely, absolutely should have umbrella insurance. I'm one. I have a pond in my backyard. We've actually even put up signs that say, private property. We've had to do that just to cover ourselves as far as making sure that we can at least claim that we've put those up. But if somebody were to, in the middle of the night to walk into our pond and something terrible were to happen, it's still considered my property. And, and insurance companies or, the family of that person might come after me. Another one that's a huge one, if you have a pool, you should absolutely have insurance, extra insurance, because you don't know. And again, this isn't an expensive thing to get, but it's a very basic thing. If you have kids running around, if you have, if you have, what's the thing that they jump on, Alan?
Trampoline.
Trampoline. That is the best one. If you have a trampoline, you better have umbrella insurance, because I know one kid who went. They have the nets now, and so that should be safe. I know one kid who went through a net, broke his collarbone. I know another one who jumped into a second kid and ended up with a broken hand. These are things you don't think of. They're things that we want to give our kids, and everybody has a good time on. Some of us as adults even enjoy that. However, it can be a real issue if someone gets seriously injured. Unfortunately, that's what our lifestyle is these days. This is what our community is. Unfortunately, we have wonderful community people, but at the same time, there's definitely insurance needs that you really want to protect yourself. So
Some insurance companies will drop you for having certain things like a trampoline, certain dogs,
yes,
so forth and so on. And you and I have been in this business a long time.
yeah,
And I would say the majority of people that we deal with are underinsured.
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Most people shop insurance for price.
Yeah,
And a lot of times you see agents, to give people a lower price, you generally have to reduce the coverage, which will lower the price. And then the people will become insurance clients. And lowering the price not necessarily means that they're giving you the same or better coverage. And what Tanya is saying is the umbrella is like saving for that rainy day, right? The umbrella protects you, and that's what the
yeah,
umbrella policy is doing, is protecting you in addition to your other insurances. Because God forbid something happens. I'll use your pond as an example. You invite somebody over and they want to go in the pond, and unfortunately, if they drown, not only are you dealing with the loss of somebody, but
yes,
then you're going to get sued, and now you got to deal with a lawsuit. So
absolutely.
emotionally, you might need extra money for a psychologist as well at
Yeah,
some point through there.
unfortunately, that's not covered under the umbrella insurance, but
It's
still,
not. Oh, geez.
the umbrella can save the money for the for the psychological help you might need afterwards.
Yeah, to dip into your savings. But a few other things to protect your assets as well, where most people don't realize that if you have a single name bank account, that you could actually put on a payable on death on that account to help transfer that money to somebody if God forbid something happens to you. Most people don't know that you can't, or most people don't know that you can even do that through the bank, because the bankers don't tell you that. They don't say, well, if something happens to you, who would you want to have access to that money or get that money? They don't say that. They open up a bank account and there you go. So I think, having those designation on single name, whether you're divorced, you're a widow, you're single, or if you're married and have a bank account in your own name, how would somebody be able to get access to that money without having to go through attorneys and go through courts? Because every time you add those in, you're probably paying more money.
And yeah,
Also,
that's really a good point. I actually had a client. It took her mother died, and it took her a month. You don't forget, there are all sorts of things, like you said, the court. You have to get a certificate of death in order to even begin to look into something if it's only the single person, because and then you have to figure out, going through the courts, that the court has to say, yes, this is okay, you can have access to this because you are the correct person. So Alan is absolutely correct. It is if there's one thing that you want to do as far as your banking, make sure that you have a second person on there, somebody for payable of death.
yeah, and that doesn't mean that the person gets access to your money. It just
No.
means
Well,
while
it
you're
moves
still living, of course.
right, not until after. That's true. They get access
Right.
to it after you've passed away. But
So if I'm living and I have a payable on death, it's only on death. I think
You
people
mean
think, well,
if
I
I'm your
don't want.
payable on death, I can't take all your money if
No,
I'm labeled as such?
unfortunately not.
All
Don't
right.
worry. That's what my wife asked when we went to the bank to do it. Can I get it now? No, not yet. Um, and then on brokerage accounts, as most people know, it's a TOD, transfer on death. Brokerage accounts of, whether it's your investments and things like that. But I had a conversation with a very wealthy individual, and it's been almost 20 years since they even updated a will. And I brought up the whole payable on death and just never even thought of it. Never thought about doing it for bank accounts and different things. He's got a few different things going on, but never thought about even doing that.
That's since we're talking about those, the other thing that we want to touch on, we're talking about banking, is the idea of the safe deposit box. A lot of people, especially our parents' generation, have safe deposit boxes, and a lot of those safe deposit boxes are in mom and dad's name. Well, if mom passes away and then dad passes away, it becomes very hard to get into that safe deposit box, which might actually have their wills in it, which, it continues to be an issue as well. So make sure, just like the payable on death, make sure you should have a second name on there, somebody who is the generation below. So if you have parents who are older, talk to them. If they have a safe deposit box, that's another thing you want to do, is get your name or one of their children's names on it as well, so people can get into it if something were to happen to that parent.
Yeah, because if things get turned over to the state through unclaimed funds, it's quite the hassle to get that money. It's not impossible, but it's going to take some legwork on your side to be able to access that stuff once you find out about it, or if you ever find out about it. You might not know.
Yep, this is all about saving you money and time, and we can all use a little of that, right?
Yeah. And I think after doing this for so many years as well, people don't like to, it's studies have shown people would rather talk about sex than they would talk about money.
Yep.
It's not disclosing any money. It's just really informing your family of where things are at if the unforeseeable, unfortunate, accident or circumstances arise, especially in a day of COVID, the unexpected, if you will, of anything that could happen to you. And that's why the risk analysis that we brought up today is for the unexpected.
Absolutely. And we're back to financial planning. It's all about, or family planning. It's one and the same. It's all about making it easier to access the assets and keep the assets that you have spent so much time growing.
So this is one little topic that we brought up today, and we're going to continue our series with the whole financial planning process through the different aspects of financial planning. So if you're not sure what financial planning is, you're going to have to watch our series of videos to understand what financial planning is. Any words of wisdoms as we depart here today?
No, just go out and have a great time in the summer. Enjoy yourselves, because it's nice to be, if not totally COVID free, becoming COVID free. So.
And as you're watching those fireworks, have a happy 4th of July, and we will see you soon. Thanks and have a great day.
Take care. Bye, everybody.